Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and I'm still kind of sick, but want to bring you a GLC set review. Now, I haven't really touched GLC too much lately. The format's gotten a bit stale, unfortunately, and all the decks are they haven't changed in a while. Let's see if the new set can spice it up, though. I know that the Pokemon Go set brought some cool new cards to it, but I think All-Star Origin's obviously a main set now, and it just dropped on PTCGO, kind of. You can't really get any of the cards, but you can look at them and you can kind of acquire them, but it's pretty hard. But I'm going to look at them and tell you what I think of them. There's some really interesting ones. Honestly, I haven't looked at too many of them, though. This Parasect looks interesting. We can, put a special condition on your opponent's active Pokemon. I think the other Parasect might be better. It would be in the special condition grass deck, which isn't that good anyway, but you could put it in that, I imagine. Or I suppose it's just like an extra damage booster. It could be okay for that. Let's see. This Beautifly is really good. I don't think there's good Beautifly in GLC. This one's okay, but not that good. That's kind of bad. So yeah, this would be the Beautifly as a draw engine. It doesn't have Forest of Giant Plants anymore, which is a good ban. I'm happy that they got rid of that. So you can't get this out immediately, but that's fine. You still got tons of ways to switch it out with the Grottle and the mushroom one, whatever it's called. It's really good. And so you can get this into play. So that's good, but I don't know if it'll play it. It already plays a lot of stage 2s with like Rillaboom and Venusaur usually with like the energy heavy build, but I'm sure having a draw engine would be nice for it. And this Dustox could see play in the special condition version of the deck. And again, looking to see if there are any other good Dustox. This Dustox is okay, but generally the new Dustox from Lost Origin is really good. Just 8 times poison is really interesting and really powerful. So I could have that. I could see that seeing some play. It's 2 energies, a bit awkward, and colorless. I don't think that synergizes super well with the deck. It's usually just a lot of single grass energy attachments. Now we have this Shifty, which is really interesting, and the first attack, 50 for 1s, whatever. But then that second attack, 210 for 1, but then you put all this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Gym. That's super brutal, obviously, because then you can't use it for the rest of the game, and you can only play one of the whole line, so that's really difficult. But you can use the first attack, and you can also essentially heal it off, so it shouldn't ever get KO'd, which is really good, and you should one-shot anything, so you could use it with a wall. That seems a bit awkward. But the damage is just so insane that I could definitely see it seeing some play in some of the grass variants. Probably not the super energy heavy ones, though. Maybe the special condition or the just single attachment type grass deck, but probably not the best. Special condition Roseradian. Trevenant isn't that interesting. Interesting in standard as like a wall, but not that good. We got this Beetle, which is kind of funny. Its attack does 30 plus 50 more per energy attached to the defending Pokemon, which is good, I guess, but it's not that good. It doesn't have that much health. It's the one where you need to evolve it. You can attach energy to your opponent's Pokemon, but I don't think you're really going to want to do that, so it's not that good. Got this Magcargo, which is fine, but there's the really good Magcargo for engines. There's a Chandelure, which is a milling one. You mill 3 when you play it, which is good. You can combine it with the top entry Lampen, I guess. That probably won't work, but you could use that. So you can do this interesting mill deck where you have Scentiscorch. Fire Control is interesting, and it would probably play this, but Fire Control is not that good. So with this Pyroar, part of that Fire Burn deck, and it could be good. There's another Pokemon that I think increases burn. I'm not sure, actually. But the Fire Burn deck's interesting. It might be a stage 2. It might be one of the Delphoxes. But so this is interesting, and we could see some interesting stuff in fire, but fire is not one of the better types, so maybe not. We got water here. Nothing interesting. We got the Swim Freely package, which is the Finneon and Lumineon line, the Kingdra line, and the Dugong line. And the engine here is this Finneon that says as often, let's get the regular right, as often as you like, you can just attach water energy from your hand to your Pokemon with Swim Freely. And they pretty much, the Swim Freely attack is agility, like you flip a coin and if heads you're immune. It doesn't do very much on any of them, I don't think, but it just does 10. But then they have other good attacks. This one is a sniping attack that stacks for each energy attached. This one is another sniping attack. This is just a solid 130 for 4, and this one's just 120 for 3 on a stage 1. So Kingdra is really interesting. Obviously, the sniping ones could be strong, but the Kingdra says that you can have either player shuffle their hand, put it on the bottom of their deck, then draw 4. So that's really good as like an engine piece and disruption piece. So I could really see this seeing play as like a water engine. The water engine's decent. You got Octillery, you got the Inteleon line, but Kingdra is like a consistent on-board draw engine that you can't really stop is really good. So I think I could see that being good, and then tacking some Swim Freely stuff in there could be decent. Let's see. You got this Hisuian Basculegion, which is kind of interesting. The Hisuian Basculin with a Call for Family attack for free is decent. This Hisuian Basculegion's okay. It does 120 as a revenge attack and confuses, which is decent. But this one shuffles all your water energy from your discard back into your deck, which is pretty common to have a lot there. And then you can you do 20 per, and it's for free, so that's pretty cool. As like a setup, it's just decent. I think the other Hisuian Basculegion is probably better, has more health, can do more consistent damage. But this one's an option. Let's see what else. We got this Cramerant. I think it's only water Lost Zone Pokemon. If you have 4 more cards in the Lost Zone, ignore all energy and its attack cost, and it does 110 for free if you have 4 cards in the Lost Zone. I don't think it's going to be very good in GLC. Lost Zone's going to be brutal, and you don't want to tech it in for one attacker, because Lost Zone cards is just so awkward because you can't get them back, and you can only play one of them. So I don't think this will see play. Glastrier kind of can wall off basics. It's a mediocre water attacker. Probably won't see play, but it's okay. It's not the worst. Let's see. I haven't looked at all these cards, but none of them are that good. Paralysis on a coin flip, kind of like Shock Lock, but it's not Shock Lock. Let's see. This isn't particularly good. We got this Gengar, though, which is good. For each, you put 2 damage counters. It does 20 essentially for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is fine, but it's a stage 2, but you can accelerate it, put it directly onto the bench. It's kind of like the Giratina from the other Lost Zone set, Lost Thunder. I think that's the set it was in. And you just put it on the bench, but then you damage yourself. So essentially it only has 90 health. But it's decent as a tech. Could be an interesting card. Is it better than the other Gengars? Some of which are really good. Specifically this Gengar from is that Breakthrough? I think that's Breakthrough. And that's, I guess, good spread one. And I don't think it is. So I think people won't play this Gengar, but it's an interesting option. And this might be the best Haunter. Yeah, it's probably the best Haunter, so it'll probably see play. Let's see. So Radiant Pokemon can't be played. Okay, so here's some of the Lost Zone. Yeah, wait, where Lost Zone Psychic stuff? I thought there was multiple Lost Zone Psychic attackers. Maybe there's just one, though. Yeah, I guess so. So you got this really good Sableye here. says if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, spread 20 damage or 12 damage counters anywhere you want on your opponent's side of the field, which is insane for just 1 energy. 10 cards in the Lost Zone is a lot, especially in GLC. Now, you do have this Comfy, which is like Jirachi Amazing Rare, except you put one of the cards into your Lost Zone. So you look at the top 2, you Lost Zone one of them, which is pretty bad if you hit 2 good cards, which if you're using the ability a bunch, you will have that happen. As an enabler for Sableye, it's okay, but it's not that good. So I don't know if it'll see play. If it will, it'll be niche play, I think. But it's an option, and you got some trainers to put stuff in the Lost Zone. And that, this Shuppet is like Versus Seeker when you play it. You Lost Zone Bayonet, and then you like put the support into your hand, and then you can obviously use it again. It's okay. I don't think there's any good Shuppets, like specifically good Shuppets. This one's very blah. I'm an idiot. So yeah, there are some better bayonets though. Like this one that damages itself can do massive damage, and then this one can devolve. So it probably won't see play, but it's an option. Got this Cresselia, which moves damage counters from your Pokemon to your opponent's Pokemon. Just kind of fun, but I don't know. If you're doing Uniclus and Gengar to move damage counters on both sides of the field, you could use Cresselia. But the other Cresselia that's like Volcanion, this one from Chilling Rain, is really good to accelerate energy and do big damage, so I don't think that'll see play. We got this interesting Kasuga Zoroark, though, which is a promo, I believe. Maybe not. I thought it was like given out at GameStop, but it doesn't really matter. Pretty much, you have this free attack that says at the end of the next turn, or the end of your opponent's turn, the defending Pokemon will be knocked out. They can usually retreat off, though, so it's not the best, but it's interesting for free. It's fine. And then you can also recover a card from your Disco pile into your hand for 1 Psychic, which is fine. But we've seen that on basic Pokemon, so it's not that good. It might see some play, though. It's not bad, but probably not good enough. Let's see. Yeah, this Malamar is bad. Comfy, as I said, could be an engine for Psychic, specifically Lost Zone. But Lost Zone stuff's really bad. This Pokemon is really interesting with a Mimikyu. There's some really good Mimikyus, but this one, for each damage count, for each damage count on all your opponent's Pokemon, it does 10. So if you're like spreading around, you can do big damage, but I think I'd rather see probably this Mimikyu. Oh, I got a trade. So yeah, I will be using some new cards, but this Bacteria is kind of interesting as like a spread and big damage option. A bit underwhelming, but it could be good. Assuming an Arcanine here, with the attack very vulnerable, which it is very true indeed. If you have no cards in hand, you do 160 damage for free, and that's amazing. But will that happen? I don't know. You can build your deck around it, but it's so risky. I don't really remember the fighting draw engine, like how that works. I think it's bad, though, so you're probably in a horrible spot. There's the, I think it's a Lunatone that can, like, draw your cards, but that's pretty awkward. So probably don't use that. Let's see, I don't think you can use this Poliwrath. I don't really remember. No, looks like you can't. So you got this Machamp here, which is really impressive. If your opponent's taken half their prize already, you get 300 health as a stage 2, which is amazing. And you can also choose to do 200 damage. You can't attack again with it, but that's fine. It might just die. Or you could just do 100 for 2, which is fine. And so massive health and massive damage is always good. It's not that expensive. Fighting decks generally struggle with attack costs, so 2 is certainly fine for them. There's the really good Machoke from... I don't remember what it said it's from. It's from... Is this Crimson Invasion? Or it might be like... I don't remember what this... Oh, no, I think this is Guardians Rising. Not super familiar with the early Sun and Moon sets, but this Machoke's really good. Bench barrier and stops damage counters, really good, and he's playing most fighting decks. So this Machamp, I think we'll see a lot of play, and it's one of the best cards in this set for GLC. This right here is okay. Not too much to say about it. And then we have this Glysaur. It's okay. It's like the Pincushion, but you just flip a bunch of coins. 50 per heads. It is 4 coins, so on average, like 100 for 2 on a stage 1 is okay, you know. And if 2 of them are heads, it's paralysis. So it's okay. It's not that good, though. And let's see what else. So this Metacham is really interesting. I'm not sure if it's the best Metacham. There's the, there's some decent Metacham. But this one's really interesting. You can accelerate 2 fighting energy cards to your bench Pokemon when you attack with it, which is really good. So this might see play and be really strong. And 50 poke for a stage 1 single fighting and accelerating 2 is really good. So I imagine that'll see some play. Now let's see, we got this Gastrodon here, which is okay. I'm pretty sure. Well, they're not fighting Sheldos. Maybe. Okay, so you can't really use this. But Earthquake for 3, 170, and 20 to each of your bench Pokemon. That's not bad. This Mean Shao's not very good. Let's see. This Barbarical means that their prize cards go into their Lost Zone, which, as I said, prizing. So obviously, prizing things in GLC is awkward, and things getting put into your Lost Zone is really bad. So you could essentially, a lot of decks play Town Map, which I don't really think is very good, but they have Town Map, and then they see the cards that they want, and they're like, oh, I want that, and then they take it, and they don't get it, which is obviously really bad for them. So Barbarical, just super good card. Is it good enough to be a stage 1 sitting on your bench that doesn't do anything? I don't think so. You got this, I guess this Spinacle is the one you use. I don't really know. No, it's okay. This Carabank can be used to set up. There's some other Carabanks. I don't really remember which one's played. It's this one, yeah. From Lost Thunder, you search for a supporter in Stadium and put them into your deck. But this one, search for 2 items, which could be better. So this Carabank could be really good. As a setup, Fighting is one of the weaker types, though. This doesn't really make it isn't a good card, but compared to the other cards of that type, it's interesting. So, it's fine. Could even see playing Control in Standard, but who knows? Excuse me. Wait, is there a Lycanroc in this set? No, okay. Let's see, this Stonjourner. Okay, that's not very good. It doesn't randomly Lost Zone a card from the top of their deck, which is kind of funny, but I don't really know why. Like, I guess it could be useful, but probably not. This Ariados is okay, but not that good. See if we can move this Honchkrow. And Survivor, hit and run for 16, not bad, especially with that with that Zoroark. But it's not that good. This is interesting. This attack is not good, but excuse me. If it's knocked out, then you search for a card and put it into your hand. But there's a really good Spiritomb that I think most Dark's decks should play. It's the one from Unbroken Bonds, I believe, which I never owned. Did I own it? Yeah, the one from Unbroken Bonds that does damage to itself, then does massive damage to your opponent. It's bad against spread, but it's a good attacker. And the Spiritomb's not that good. It doesn't really do any damage, so that's kind of bad. This Hoopa's okay, but there's a really good Hoopa. Let's see. Some cool Radiant Pokemon. Can't play those, unfortunately. Which is a good ruling, but you can't play them. Let's see what else here. Some like funny Lost Zone stuff. You can devolve your opponent's Pokemon with this poor Yanzi. Oh, this Snorlax is interesting. It's just a simple big attacker, and it does 180 for 3, which is good. It's also immune to effects of attacks, which is super good. So it's not the best Snorlax, though. There's multiple block Snorlaxes, which are really good, and then there's Gormdai Snorlax, so I probably won't say play, but it's okay. Let's see. Ambipom. This could see play and control. The other Ambipom is really good though. The one where you are immune on a coin flip, so probably not see play. Let's see. This one lost instant energy attached to the defending Pokemon, but I don't think that's too impactful in most matchups. This Kamala is interesting. I thought there was a Kamala like this, but maybe there wasn't. Let's see. There is. I thought there was a really good Kamala. Maybe not. So this one's really interesting, though. If it's asleep and knocked out, which it's asleep after attacks, then your opponent doesn't take a prize card. So that's really good. You can just do 60 every turn. Well, you can do 60 if you're not asleep. And if you stay asleep, then you're essentially like a wall. So that's good. You're like a Pokédoll. I could see play. It's better just to play Pokédoll, probably, though. This Greedent's bad. It can do big damage, but that's about it. And I think that's it. We got this cool trainer gallery. I don't really need to touch on these cards here, though. But now let's look at sorry, I want to check if is there energy from this set? Yeah, okay, I'm going to look at this. Oh, yeah, this is just if you get KO'd and it's attached, you draw until you have 7. I don't think Lucky Egg sees too much play. It's fine, but it's not that good. So now Arc Phone, this is kind of interesting. Look at the top card of your deck, which doesn't really matter. You may switch that with one of your face down prizes. You can use this to you need to look at your prizes first, and then you can switch it with and kind of get stuff out of your prizes or put stuff into your prizes, such as Dream Ball. So you can use any Pokemon Dream Ball. If you take a KO and take it as a prize, you search for any Pokemon, which can be an evolution Pokemon, and put it into play. And so that can be Pokemon where you're not allowed to play the basics because they're a different type. So Arc Phone's interesting. Might see some fun combos, but probably not. Irazu, which I want to say is like a different card, but maybe it's not. Search for 3 evolutions and reveal and put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So that's really good. It can be obviously good. It's like the opposite of Gloria and Bridget. It's really good for this. Probably not good for standard, but just as getting all your engine pieces set up and stuff, I think it's just going to be really good, and excited to see how that will go. Obviously, you need to have a super engine heavy deck, or a super evolution heavy deck at least, because you want to be able to make use of all 3 of those evolutions, and at least 2 of them. And you're probably going to have 1 evolution in play already, or access to 1. So you need to have like a deck that wants pretty much all evolutions, but there are a lot of decks that do. Close this experiment. Look at the top 5, put 3 of them to your hand, put the others into the lost zone. Now that's brutal, but it's not super brutal. Usually you can afford to lose probably 2 of the top 5 cards, at least 1, and so it's not too bad. I'm interested in seeing if it'll see play, but I don't think it will. There are other cards like it, like Misty's Determination and Bill's Analysis, I think, that don't really see play, so I don't think this will see play either. It's an interesting card. A damage pump. Move 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to your other Pokemon, and that's fine, but I don't think it'll see play unless there's some weird combos that people are using. So this draw 2, if you act a Pokemon that has a Sui in its name, draw 2 more. Could be good if you're... I don't really know. If you have like a Sui deck, it could be good, but I don't really think there'll be decks like that. Lady got reprinted. Lake Acuity, really good card. Same thing as Aether Paradise Foundation, I think. That might be a different card. I think that might have been 30. Maybe it was still 20 less, but a water and fighting Pokemon take 20 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon. They have those types of energy attached, so it can be like a colorless deck or some other type where you want to attach that energy. This is also the same type as Brooklet Hill, which is kind of interesting, I guess. But pretty much just offering this damage reduction can be really good. There are a decent amount of ways to bump stadiums, but it's still solid. I'm wondering how good it will be, but taking less damage, especially with something like, say, water control. We have Regigigas, which can't really be one-shotted. Increasing the ability to not be one-shotted is really good. So, like a could see play. Lost City, when a Pokemon is knocked out, I think it can be from anything. It can just... I'm not exactly sure what constitutes knocked out. I know effects can knock it out. I'm assuming like poison is knocking it out. But if it just gets discarded or shuffled back, where you don't take prizes, it's not knocked out. But if it's knocked out, then your opponent puts the Pokemon into the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. Discard call are all cards attached. Sorry, I butchered my words a bit there. But that's pretty good, right? Being able to stop your opponent from taking their prize cards, or not taking their prize cards, but getting their Pokemon back. Something like Giratina, that's pretty bad because it wants to swim Giratina. It's an interesting counter card. It's probably not the best card though. Lost Vacuum, interesting for standard as well. It's kind of like Field Blower. It's pretty much the same. It's worse though, pretty much because you need to Lost Zone a card from your hand. So it's toned back from Field Blower a lot. If you really need another Field Blower, it's good. Or if you're doing the Lost Zone engine, it's good. But I don't think anyone's doing the Lost Zone engine. So probably don't use this unless you desperately need it for some reason. Mirage Gate is interesting, specifically for Standard, but also for GLC and other formats. You only use it if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. So I could only see this being usable in the Psychic Lost Zone deck, which is not probably that good. But it's an interesting concept, and you search for 2 basic energies of different types and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. So it can be used to just power yourself up, and it's really good. Issue is the 2 different types, of course, and it's just awkward getting 7 cards in the Lost Zone. You can use the Comfy, you can use the Coercive Experiment, can use stuff like Lost Vacuum. But I don't think you can Lost on your opponent's cards with Giraffe Rig. I don't believe that does it. So it's going to be awkward and probably not that good. Misfortune Sisters, which might get banned. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and discard any number of cards you find there. Your opponent then shuffles the other cards back in their deck. Actually, this probably won't get banned. I was thinking did something different for some reason. It's pretty good. But big issue is that, like... you're using your supporter for the turn to mill, and it might be useless, and it's not that strong. You can often shut down their items. It'd be good if you hit switch if you're playing a control deck, but it's a lot of luck, so probably won't see too much play. Panic Mask, prevent all damage done to this card from your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less remaining, which is weird. So there are obviously a lot of low HP Pokemon. Nothing has 40 HP or less, I don't think, that is a good attacker. That consistently is a good attacker. So it's not that useful of a hard tech. But if you are doing Psychic Spread, stick this on. Now your Pokemon are essentially invincible. Most decks play Scoop Up Net. So you're not actually invincible. And there also is a lot of Field Blower. So it's not the best, but certainly decent. Riley here. For the top 5 cards of your deck, have your opponent choose 2 of them, discard those cards, and put the rest into your hand. That's just worse hop. So we got Thornton here, though. Thornton is really interesting. This is the card I'm going to use in Standard. I have some spicy decks thrown together, which will, I predict, to break the game. Not necessarily my decks, but Thornton. It's essentially like Ninja Boy or Nano if you played with them, but you choose a basic Pokemon in your discard pile. Obviously, non-rule box for this. Switch it one of your basic Pokemon in play. It can't be rule box in GLC and a lot of other formats, but in Standard it can. So that's pretty interesting. And then you keep all stuff attached, like energy, damage, special conditions, turns in play, and whatever else. So it can't be used to get around, get out of special conditions, or get out of effects. I don't really see why you'd want to do that, but you can't do that. But it allows you to the big effect is that it recovers a Pokemon, and also the turns and play thing's really big, because that means you can essentially go from any board state in GLC to any other board state in GLC. So if your opponent, one of your cards was knocked out or something, your opponent's like, they can't recover from that, bam, play Thornton, and all of a sudden you got exactly what you're hoping for. It kind of makes any board state easily recoverable. So Thorn's going to be insanely powerful because you can kind of undo what happened, get your Pokemon back into play, and evolve it that turn, which is just insane. So I think you'll see tons of play all over the place. Really looking forward to it. It might get banned. It might get banned in Standard. It might get banned in GLC. Might get banned in Expanded. Probably not Expanded, but it's really good. And it's going to see a lot of play, I think, as just a decent supporter. Obviously, the issue is it used a supporter for the turn to recover, and yeah, that was what I was trading for. But I don't know how powerful it will be as your lone supporter for the turn. We got Toolbox here, though. I'm just kind of searches for tools, but it's not that good. Let's see. Okay, so this one's kind of interesting. This Pokemon can attack even if it's asleep or paralyzed. I'm not sure if that's useful, but there might be some niche scenarios where it is. They can't, like, retreat, though, like with Jirachi, so not that interesting. I think that's it. Yeah, we got some secret rares and stuff. Collapse Stadium looks really cool here. That's it for the set review. Went over the energy, which isn't that good. If I had to say a cut I was most excited for, it's definitely Thornton. For Pokemon, I'm not really sure. There aren't any amazingly cool Pokemon. I'd say that, let's see. I guess Machamp. Machamp's really good, so I'll go with that. But comment down below what you think of how this new set's going to change GLC. I think the trainers could spice it up a bit. I might get back into it if it picks up steam a bit more and develops a bit more. I'm excited. It's really fun, but also going to mess around with Standard, of course. And if you have deck ideas that you want me to try out, comment down below. I'm really excited to look at these new cards, and I'm really excited to see you in the next video.